sign at the gas station just next door flew off, ramming down the street. So we've taken safety a bit inside, but we're expecting things to only get worse, these winds to only keep increasing here for us here in Panama City Beach.
Okay, Maggie, and David Muir back in Panama City as well, where it seems to have calmed down, or you're inside at this point.
Yeah, we're inside, just inside where we are staying inside this hotel I mentioned to you earlier. Obviously, we make sure that the hotels that we do stay at have reinforced walls. Give you an idea, the fire alarm is now going off in the building. I'm not sure if you can hear. I'm not sure if you can hear that, but you can see all the families who are gathered here. These are families who heeded the warning to leave their homes, come to this hotel, and to ride out this hurricane, this Category 4 hurricane that's now hitting. They have wind gusts 119 miles per hour right here in Panama City. I'm not going to go back outside for obvious reasons, but Dale, if you could just show folks at home what it looks like as a Category 4 barrels through the eye wall coming ashore, the Florida Panhandle right now. Obviously just an extraordinary thing to witness, the power of these hurricanes and the fact that this one is really the size and scope of nothing they've ever seen before in this part of the Florida Panhandle as it whips by. Again, that's the entrance to the hotel that we're staying in, and when we were outside, we were protected somewhat by giant cement walls and U-Haul trucks and vans that are parked outside to barricade the area, and yet you're still seeing that through the front door of the hotel. You're hearing the alarms go off inside the hotel. The power went out some time ago. We actually saw the transformer explosion just down the street, George. But this is just really obviously an awesome sight to see, but it illustrates the real danger that authorities here have been talking about for the last 24 hours and telling people to get out, to try to seek shelter, to come to one of these hotels, or to go further inland. This is what all of these families who are standing behind the camera are watching along with us here this afternoon unfold here. The only blessing, if there is one, with a hurricane this large is that, as you have been pointing out with Sam, that it is moving fairly quickly, moving much more quickly than what we saw in Florence, and certainly in Harvey, where those came ashore and then they just sat there and they dumped water. And look at the scope of the water that you see over my shoulder here. And yet this hurricane is moving more quickly than those previous hurricanes that we've reported on. It's somewhat remarkable that you have states of emergency in several states already. They're now preparing for the possibility that it'll be at hurricane strength when it travels through Georgia and beyond. And Ginger, we've now moved inside just as you did earlier. You got the early brunt of this, but we're now seeing the sheer force as this makes its way through Panama City. And the last wind gust that I saw reported, Ginger, was 119 miles per hour right here in Panama City.
And David, no matter where you are in the storm, I just saw something I have never seen in real life. I've seen it on video, and I have seen it in a 3D graphic that we made to describe storm surge. I saw an entire home taken off of its foundation and rolled down the street. That is the type of storm surge we're talking about right here in Mexico City at this moment. You can't see it, but we could just start to make out, and I saw the roof on its side rolling down the street, and that was one of the structures that I had showed you earlier. I can't see if any of the others have made it. The water is still at least 10 feet below us, but remember I told you we're on a 3rd floor. We have rooms 4th and 5th, so we're able to go up if we needed to. But I'm going to tell you right now, anything that was on this coast within 20 minutes just now is gone, is going to be washed away. It is going to be one of those concrete slab situations when this all calms down. My heart is racing. I have never, George, seen something like an entire home, a well-built home, rolling down the street, except for we made this 3D graphic so that we could explain to people after Sandy happened what storm surge really does to a structure, what it can do to your home, and how quickly it can come in. We just watched that happen in real time. And I'll tell you right now, it makes you shake. I can hear it in your voice. It's just staggering, staggering, Ginger. And we're glad that all of you are at least a little bit higher up. And if at any moment it comes time for you to go, you've got to get fully inside. Want to bring in, we feel still very good. Want to bring in Congressman Neil Dunn now. He represents this district from Central Panhandle through Tallahassee and Panama City. Boy, you're going to have a lot of work ahead of you, Congressman.
Yeah, this is an unprecedented storm in Florida history. We've never seen anything like it. It's huge. It's, as you said, a Category 4, and the storm surge is literally unprecedented.
And Congressman, did you have the sense that the people, your constituents, had heeded the warnings and had evacuated in time?
I wish I could tell you that I felt comfortable about that. I think that we have had a shortage of evacuations. Our shelters hit a certain amount of fullness. We have 4 shelters open, and people in them, 2 or 3 are full, but the other one is not. Honestly, there's going to be a lot of damage. It's hard to predict because it's just that we don't have a model for it. I've spent most of the morning working with FEMA and other agencies to plan and prepare for pre- and post-disaster support, supplies, people, services. We're working with the utilities, the first responders, the hospital, transportation, the police.